Good morning, class. You're highly welcome to our lesson today. And I want to wish you a very happy new month. So, this morning, quickly, we're going to go through a few topics as we progress in our lesson. I'm going to be looking at Python iteration. This is not the first time I'm talking about this, but I'm just kind of progressing in Python iteration. And this is going to bring us back to our previous knowledge, and this simply means we're going to be going through the previous lessons we have actually gone through, and then we're going to be using them to bring the kind of advance in our knowledge of Python programming. So now we're going to, like I said, we're going to talk about Python iteration. But before I look at Python iteration, I'm going to point us back to the Python dictionary. Briefly, I'm going to point us back to the Python dictionary, and if you have not forgotten it yet, our Python dictionary is one of our data sets. Python dictionary, I told us the Python dictionary is actually a combination of the key and the value pairs in a Python. So the Python dictionary, okay, is one of our it's a combination of keys and value pairs. Keys and value pairs. So a very good example of the Python dictionary. Most times we use a Python dictionary in data analysis. We use it in data analysis. For instance, you want to know the items and then the number of that items in a particular place, maybe in a shop, for instance, or maybe in the house. You want to know, you have an item, you want to know the number of items you have. Maybe. So in that case, the Python dictionary becomes very important and useful. Yes. So now, please just hold on, please. Hold on for me, please. Let me share my screen again. Okay now. So now, like I said, the Python dictionary is actually a combination of keys and value pairs. So now we're going to look at a good example of it. For instance, we have the countries. I can say countries equals to items in a Python dictionary are always enclosed in a curly bracket, and that's why I'm using that. I can say country, Nigeria, and maybe I want to relate the number of persons or the number of people in a game. I can say Nigeria, we had 5 people represented in Nigeria, and then also United States. Maybe we had United States, maybe in the United States we had 7 people represented from the United States. Then maybe you also had United Kingdom. Maybe you have United Kingdom. Maybe you had 10 people represented from the United Kingdom. So you can, these are very good example of our Python dictionary, and you can do a lot with the Python dictionary. You can print out these items from your Python dictionary. You can print, by now you should be used to a print function. You can print the variable countries right in your parentheses. Countries. You can create your countries, run your code. It will give you the entire Python dictionary. It will give you the entire Python dictionary. Now, also, you might be interested in few of the items, and you don't want everything to be printed out. You just want to make reference to a particular item in this list. Then you can simply iterate, and I have explained to us before that iteration means it's a system of loop that goes through every single item in a list, in a tuple, in a set, or in a dictionary in this case now. So now we are interested in few items in this dictionary and you want to print it out. And what we need to do, you need to use a formula to do that. So I'm going to say for, I can say for country, countries, I'm going to say whatever I want, which country do I want, anyone I want I can actually print out. I can say print. Now it depends. I have the keys. First I have the keys, like inside the dictionary you have Nigeria, you have a colon separation to show you the number of people that represented Nigeria. Then you have United States, and you have 7 people. In Nigeria, in the case of Nigeria, we have 5 people. In the case of United States, you have 7 people. Let's say in a football game or in an Olympic game, World Olympic game, you have 7 people representing United States, 5 people representing Nigeria, 10 people representing United Kingdom. And maybe in the course of the analysis, you want to know a few things. Please, every knowledge you're applying here is going to be useful in the future. You might be looking at it and you feel, what's the essence of this? Just keep gathering them. As time goes on, it will get to a time when you go into full application of Python program, then you understand the importance of all this. Because in Python program, we deal with data, we deal with a lot of data and then so many things. So this knowledge will be useful then. So that's why it's necessary you pay keen attention to all we're doing right now, and then make them a part of you, so that when we get to the point of application, it wouldn't be an issue at all. Now in this pair, now the Nigeria you're seeing here is the key, and then the 5 you're seeing here is the value. Okay, the 5 you're seeing there is the value. So I can just say print. I can say print Nigeria. Okay. So my Nigeria is okay. So I'll just run this. I'll run this. Good. Okay, Nigeria was printed out because it was seen as a text. So I'm just going to. Now it was printed as a text because as a string because you have a string inside. Now let me go ahead and explain how your for loop works. So I use a for loop here, say for country in countries. Okay, for country in countries. Now the country here is singular and it makes reference to every single key in this place. Okay, every single key in this place. Okay, so now for me to print all the keys, which is Nigeria, United States and United Kingdom, I'm going to enter this country inside my parentheses. I'm going to have it this way. That means I'm going to have country. Good. So if I have that, it should give me Nigeria, United States and United Kingdom. That's what I should have, and those are the country. Okay, so now you can see we have it down there. We have Nigeria, United States and United Kingdom printed out. Okay, so now beside this, I may want to know the number of people that represented these countries. Okay, the number of people. So I can actually go ahead to put, after having my country, already we know that country makes reference to all the countries. Now we may want to attach the figures in front. So I can say country, then I'll put a comma. Okay, then I will now say I'll make reference to the name of this dictionary. The name of this dictionary. The name of the dictionary is countries. Countries. Alright, then in a square bracket, I'm going to have the key. And the key is country again. Good. So that's just it. So if I print this out, I should expect this country with this single attachment of the number of people representing Nigeria following country. Okay, let's print that and see what happened, how the outcome will be. Good. So you can see that we're having this output now. You can see here, down here we have Nigeria 5, United States 3 and 7, and United Kingdom we have 10. So this has been clearly printed out, and this is actually a very clear information. Now what if in a situation you have this list to be kind of a list with up to 100 lines, and someone is asking you to kind of analyze this and present it in this format? This is the essence of how using your dictionary. Your dictionary will be able to break this down this way using a for loop, and then you'll be able to present that list in a very reasonable format. I think it's more presentable this way. Yes. So you can also make your outcome to be a little bit special somehow by remodifying your print function. Okay, so you can say, instead of having Nigeria 5, you say you can say Nigeria. You can say Nigeria is you want whatever you want to add, but you can remodify your list. Okay, you can remodify your list to make it look more beautiful, more better, more beautiful. I've not taught you something about the formatted formatted string, but I believe maybe before the end of this class I should be able to capture that, something about the formatted string. The formatted strings helps you to make your output to be unique. Okay, so I'm just writing that down now so that I can capture that. Good. So now this is just it about the dictionary. So now what if I want to get just an item? If I need an item here, okay, if I just want one item, not all the item, okay, not all the item, I want an item, I can just say extract ext. For instance, I'm just using that as a variable name. Extract is equals to country is the name of my country, sorry, is the name of the dictionary I'm working with. Dots, I'm going to put a dot, I will get that item, get. Okay, now get, I'm going to have a parenthesis, and that parenthesis, in that place I'm going to fit in my key. This will help me to get a particular item. Now in Nigeria, for instance, get I'll say Nigeria now. Okay, get Nigeria. Okay, get Nigeria. Then I'll print ext. I'll print my ext, that's the extract. For short, I just use ext within my extract. I'll print ext. Okay. So now let me print this, then I'll explain little things. I hope this runs good. So now we have 5 printed out there. You can see that we in the initial case we printed out every single item in the dictionary box. There could be different instances and situations that might require you to pay attention to one instance, to just one instance. In that case, you use what we call the get item to print. So the good thing about Python program is that I want to explain while we go on. I'm going to be explaining a few details, some things that are very, very important and things you need to pay attention to. Now, let me clean this line again. I'll go back a little bit. Okay. Now, I needed one single item from this dictionary. Initially, we got all the items and then the number of people that represented their nations at the Olympic game or in whatever game. But in this case, we're just citing an example. Now, I don't want to print out everything and print out all the items. I'm just interested in making reference to one item. I want to know something about just one item. Okay. Now, I picked a variable. I want to believe by now you've not forgotten your idea of variable. I told you variable is a store of value, and in this case I'm using extract. Okay, but I'm just shortening it here. That's why you have ext. Now my extract is equals to, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make reference to the container of the items. The container of the items is the variable here, countries, and inside countries you have all these items contained inside. That's why we say the variable is a store value. So now in this case, you have in countries, you have Nigeria 5, United States 7, United Kingdom 10, and then now I'm interested in one, so I will just say inside the container. That's why I'm writing first countries. writing countries. Inside the container countries, I'll put a dot. Now, once I hit the dot, you can see various options you can explore. Okay, Python gives you a whole lot of options you can explore. All right, you can see all these items you can explore. Now, you can use any of them. I've used the first one, gets. Okay, gets. Then inside the parenthesis, you can see self. Then you have key. Okay, now in the second case, now let me explain. Self makes reference to all the items in that place. Then the second one means key. In the case of self, you don't need to do anything. It's an automatic command. Now in this second case, you have items in bracket against self. So when self is involved, you don't need to do anything. You can just leave an open empty parenthesis. It simply makes reference to all the items. Now let's use that now. I want to use that. Okay, so I don't need to put anything here inside the parenthesis here, but automatically with this closed empty parenthesis, it makes reference to all the items there. Now I say print ext. Let's see what the outcome will be. Wrong. Now you can see it makes reference to all the items. Okay, dictionary items. It gives you all the dictionary items. Nigeria 5, United States 7, United Kingdom 10, all that. So that is just it. Okay, it gives you all the items you need. So apart from this, there are other items. I hit the dot again, it comes out again. Okay, now we have used the gets item, then we have the key value item. Okay, the key, then the self, then we have the pop item. The pop item is used to remove, kind of to delete item from that particular dictionary. Okay, that's what a pop item is used to do. You use it to delete. For instance, if I decide to type in pop, I can decide to explore that option, pop item. Okay, pop item. Then I can just specify the item I want to pop. Maybe let me say I want to pop. I'm not popping Nigeria. I want to pop United States. I want to pop United States. United States. I want to pop United States. I'm having that there. So I'll just hit my print button to see what happens. I'll run that code again. Good. Now you can see that 7 is popped. 7 is popped. Now let me print. Pop means that 7 has been removed. Okay. Now let me print countries again. Print countries. Countries is the variable name for our dictionary. Now let me print that. You should notice a difference. Now you can see something there. Now Nigeria, now we have the new dictionary. We have Nigeria 5, United Kingdom 10. United States has been removed. Okay, so this item pop here actually removes an item from the dictionary. Now I had to do the double print. You have the first print ext, then print countries. Print ext actually prints the popped item United States, and United States is what? 7. You can see the 7 printed out here. Then I decided to make a second print so that we can keep this side by side, and then for a better understanding of what is happening here. Now we can see that 7 was actually popped, and in the second print function is telling you what is now remaining in the dictionary list, in the dictionary. So what we have remaining now is Nigeria 5 and United Kingdom 10. So the pop is used to remove an item from a list, from a list, from a set, okay, and then from a dictionary. In the case of a tuple, you know you cannot remove an item in a tuple. In a Python tuple, I've explained that before. Why? Because the Python tuples are immutable. They are not mutable. That means you cannot make changes in them. So that is why you cannot use the pop tool in a Python tuple. Very well done, very good. So I'm still going to go back. Let's explore other tools there. So we're just trying to explore a few tools there. So I'm still going to put those dots here. We have used the pop item, we have used the items, we have used get, we have used the gets. Yes. Then the values, okay? The values, we can use this. We can still explore this. We have the values. Okay. Then in this case, I'm going to take this out. Okay. Print the values. I'm going to run this. Good. So now print the values. This is the outcome we're having. Nigeria 5, United States 7, United Kingdom 10. So printing value is just like printing the entire item in the cell, in the dictionary, sorry. Okay, just like printing the entire items in the dictionary. So you can, it depends on what you want to do in the dictionary and the actions you want to carry out or your programming demand at that particular time. That is what determines your action at any particular time as well. So, but all these tools are really available for us to explore. Okay, they are very available for us to explore. So in the case of pop item, if you're popping the item, it's going to pop all the items. Okay, it's going to pop all the items. It means it's going to delete or remove all the items. That's the meaning of pop item. Okay, good. So you also have copy. That means you can copy cell. You can actually copy the entire item, copy the item, and then you print. If you're printing it, it's going to give you a copy, a clear and exact the copy of everything you're seeing in that item. You're going to have so, and that is what we have here right now. It's giving you a clear copy of all the items. You can see what you have, what was printed as exactly clear replica of the initial item country. So we printed country, let me print ext, let me print ext, I printed country, so definitely it will give me that. So print ext, I'm expecting it to give me exactly the same outcome because I copied you can see we're having exactly the same outcome. So ext and countries here are the same because ext is actually a copy of countries. So that is why if I print countries, it will give me the same thing. If I print ext, it will still give me the same thing. So that is how you copy your item. So we can make use of all that. So we have been able to do a little justice to this. And as much as possible, I would really appreciate it if you can do a lot of practice on this to help you improve on your programming skill. It will be very, very important to help you improve on your programming skill. So now, I'm going to see how we can actually apply the loop. Okay, the for loop. I'll start with the for loop. How we can apply the for loop to our lists. Okay, we have talked about list, and I want to believe that by now you should know that our list is one of the Python data types that we have, the Python list. And Python list is, it's mutable, and mutable in the sense that you can actually make changes in the items in the Python list. In the Python list, you can have numbers, you can have strings in the Python lists. So now, for instance, you have the list of items, or the list of okay, let's say the name of people, you can call it names. Okay, then you know that in our Python list we don't use a curly bracket, we use a square bracket. That's what we use. Now you can have in this list, now you have the names of people. Let's say you have Esther. These are names of people. You have so you have these names in this list. you can also carry out a lot of operations like we just did now. You can, by now you know, calling your mind back to what we discussed initially. I told you that your list, in your list you have the index assignment to every single item in your list, and it goes either from left to the right or from right back to the left. And looking at the index assignment here, I told you that going from left to right, the first one here, Esther, has automatically has an index of 0. Okay, now if I said let me still say extract again, est equals to names. Okay, names, sorry, I put square brackets, then I'll put a 0 inside. Okay, then I say print ext. Sorry, I will print ext. Then I run this code. Okay, I ran the code. Now my outcome is Esther. What's happening here? Let's go see what happened. Now we have this list names, because the Esther, Daniel, Samuel, Linus, and Andrew, and extracts ext equals to names, then square bracket I have the index assignment to Esther, and I told us that all these names have index assignment. Now I told you Esther has 0 index assignment, and I said names, then square bracket the index assignment. I didn't put Esther, I just decided to use the index assignment to get the item. Now names, square bracket 0, print ext is going to give me Esther, because right in that list the index assignment to Esther is Esther is 0, so I made reference to that to give me Esther. So I can do the same thing. Daniel is going to be 1. Okay, so if I print this again, it's going to give me Daniel. Good, so we have Daniel. Samuel is going to be 2. If I print that, it's going to give me Samuel. So you can see that Andrew is going to be 4, the last item there. Andrew is going to be 4, which is the last item there. So if I print Andrew, if I print 4, it's going to give me Andrew. So you can see that these whole things have assignments, and I said it runs positively from to the right. Then also you have a negative index running from the right back to the left side. For instance, the Andrew here is going to be -1 as well. So if I decide to change what I have in my parentheses there to -1, it's still going to give me Andrew. Let me go ahead and run that again. Good, Andrew has been printed out. Now if I increase that to -2, it's going to go to Linus. My code, I'm having Linus printed out. If I increase that to -3, if I reduce that to -3, it's going to give me Samuel. It's going to give me Samuel. Sorry, my system is booting, please. So yes, we have our Samuel printed out. So what I'm trying to say is that we should have an understanding of how things works with the list. And in a list, you can actually get items from the list using the reference to the indexes. Okay, that's what we have just done. So you can also print the entire list if you want to print. You are at liberty to print the entire list. If you want to do that, for instance, you print names. From the print names, it's going to give me the list the way it is. Good. So you can see the entire list is just given back to me. So most times you don't want it to come out this way. You want to have it printed out in a very organized manner. For instance, somebody says, okay, let me have the name of these people: Esther, Daniel, Samuel, Linus, and Andrew. Let me have their names outlined. You can have it. In that case, you have to iterate through this list, and I've explained to us what iteration actually means. It means writing down these items one after the other. For instance, if I want to write these names out, I am not sure I'm going to write all at once at the same time, but I'm going to start with Esther. I'm going to write down Esther. When I'm done with writing down Esther, I'm going to go straight to Daniel, and then I'll write Daniel down. Then I will now go straight to Samuel and write it down as number 3. Then I'll go to Linus and write it down as number 4. Then I'll go to Andrew and write it down as number 5. So I'm going to be writing these names one after the other. So we can do the same thing with the Python program by what we call the Python iteration. Python iteration. Now I'm going to be using the for loop to write these names down. For name in names, for name in names, I'm going to say print name. So Python is going to give me these names. It's going to write these names down. Okay, it's going to write these names down one after the other, the way I would do if I want to write them down as well. So I'm going to run this list now. You can see, if I erase this a little bit, you can see these names written down: Esther, Daniel, Samuel, Linus, Andrew. Okay, and you might want to write them down alphabetically. You want to see the names written down. Then you can add a string in the front. There's nothing wrong in that. You can just add a string. You can just say the string. This is the beauty of having a string. You can say, you can decide to say, okay, add a string. I'm coming. Okay, for now let's just leave it this way. I was just trying to figure out a way, but what I'm trying to say is that you can actually make your output to be unique. You can just say, okay, this person's name is this. Okay, you can use a string to do that. We don't want to go deeper for now. You can use the string, but we're going to go deeper later. You can say, okay, here you can say this person's name is, I'll introduce this, I'll close my string. I'll close my string. I'll put a comma. I'll shift it forward. Okay. Now, this person's name. Now, I'm having something here. I'm going to take this out, please. This name. This person's name. Okay. I'm just trying to control my use of hyphen. Okay, let me say this person's name. Take this out again. Okay, this person's name is name. Alright, let me print this out and see how the outcome will be. Then I will explain all that is happening there. Let me run my program. Okay. Now, this person's name is Esther. This person's name is Daniel. This person's name is Samuel. This person's name is Linus. This person's name is Andrew. Okay, like I said, you can make your output to be unique. Now, like I said, you can also okay, let's just dive in a little bit. Like I said, you can itemize you can itemize the items. You can do that. Actually, you can clearly do that with your Python program, but it's a different thing entirely. Or you can do that. What you need to do, you can increment the count before the name. You can increment the counts before the name. You can have a count here. You can have a count equals to 0. I didn't want to go deeper because I don't want to confuse you. Okay, but for name in names, okay, for name in names, counts counts, okay, counts equals to counts plus 1. Okay, so that means you're incrementing that. Okay, you're incrementing that. Now, count, the initial value of count is 0, like you can see here. Let me take this down a little bit. The initial value of count is 0, like you can see there. I didn't want to dive in deeper, but let me just take you through this. The initial value of count was 0. Say for name in name, I want my output to be unique, that's why I'm doing this. Then count 0 equals to 0 plus 1. That means after every count in the list, you're going to add a 1. That's what it means. Add a 1, add a 1, add a 1. So now print, I cannot take this out. Okay, and I'll say print counts, comma, then I'll use a string to introduce a column, or I can just introduce a dot name. Let me run that. I don't know, we might have issues there, but I want to have the outcome. Let me have the outcome, then we'll sort that out later. So okay, so we're having a syntax error name. Okay, we're having a syntax error name. Now let me introduce my comma here. Okay, I'll run that again. Good, so we have our outcome there. You can see the lists and numbering system clearly itemized. They're telling you that number 1 is Esther, number 2 is Daniel, number 3 is Samuel, number 4 is Linus, number 5 is Andrew. Good. Like I said, we are diving in deep somehow. So we were able to achieve all this using the count here. I set the count to my 0, and I was telling Python that if you come across Esther, add 1 to my 0. Came across the first item, added 1 to my 0 to give me Esther is 1. You went to the second item. Now we have 0 plus 1 is 1. Now going to the next item, 1 plus 1 is 2. Going to the next item, 2 plus 1 is 3. Just like that. That's how we came across. We came to this point. We were able to get this. Alright, I want to believe you're following and it's not something difficult. So initially I had an error here because there was no comma. I'm supposed to introduce a comma. So now let me explain what is happening in my print box, in my print parenthesis. I have my count. This count you're seeing is a variable. When I say print count, it's not just going to give me a count here, it's going to give me this count. And this count has been incremented, and I told us we are iterating. Now it is incremented by 1. That's what we're having, plus 1 here. That means each time we're counting the next item, 1 will be added. Esther, 0 plus 1 is 1. Then Daniel, 1 plus 1 is 2. Samuel, 2 plus 1 is 3. Linus, 3 plus 1 is 4. Andrew, 4 plus 1 is 5. And that was how we came across all this. So you can see a dot here. This dot is what we have in this string green line. Okay. Now I wrote my count here. I now introduced a comma here. Then since I wanted to have a dot there, that was why I brought in this string. Strings are always printed out the way they are, but the your parentheses will not be printed out. The parenthesis is just a code recognized by Python program, so it will not be printed out. What will be printed out will be what is in between the parentheses, which is the dot, and that's what we have down here. Then I also introduced a comma. Initially I didn't introduce a comma and it gave me an error. So comma is actually a separator. It separates each of the items you're making reference to. Count makes reference to my number system. Okay. Then the string here makes reference to these dots after the count, the number count. Then the name makes reference to every single name inside my dictionary. Okay, inside my dictionary. So this is an iterated is being iterated as well. Count is being iterated as well, but this is continuous. That's why at every face of it you can see that dot. You have a dot, 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 and the dot goes as far as until it gets to the last item. So this is it about the sorry. This is it about the for loop. And you can do a whole lot of other things with the for loop. You can have a list as well with numbers. I'm going to clean this. You can have a list with numbers and you want to kind of do some calculations. You can have a list. You can have a new list. I can call it numbers. And I want to design a multiplication table. Okay, so I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Now this is my list. I want to design a multiplication table, 2 times multiplication table. A multiplication table that will multiply each of this item by 2. I'm also going to use a for loop. I'm going to say for none in my list numbers. Sorry, I think I made mention of dictionary. I wasn't talking of dictionary, I was talking of list, please. If I call the list dictionary, please, I'm correcting myself now. This is a list, and even the previous one also was a list, so let's take notes, please. So now, for none in none, I'm using my for loop. Okay, I'm going to say print. Okay, now I want to multiply each of this item by 2. So I'm going to say, let me see how I can do that. I'm going to say 2. I will introduce an asterisk times norm. I'll put a comma there. Now, this is the first section of my print statement. Then I'm going to introduce a string and an equality sign inside the string. I told us that in a string, if you have a string with a parenthesis, it's not going to print the parenthesis, it's going to print what we have in between the parentheses. So definitely, I'm having a string with an equality sign inside it. All I'm going to get when I print this out is going to be the equality sign. It's not going to give me the parentheses. So now I'm going to introduce a comma again. If I don't introduce the comma there, it will give me an error. Now 2 times no equals to, so I'm going to make a correction here. This is also supposed to be okay, that's okay. I think that's okay. But I'm coming. Let me look at that. Let me see what happened. Okay, now 2 times no is equals to 2 is equals to 2 times no. Something is wrong there, but I'm going to make that correction. Equals to 2 times no. Okay, good. Now let me see. Okay, let me make this correction. I'm going to leave my 2 here. Then I'm going to change, because if I do this, I'm asking Python to do a straight up calculation. That's not what I want. I don't want to have a straight up calculation. Already I've done that here. I shouldn't repeat this here. What we have here and what we have here are all the same. What I want as my outcome here, I want Python to tell me that 2 times each of this number will give me what I have there. So I'm going to say 2. I'm not going to use this. I'm going to put a string here. Okay, a string here. Then I'm going to put my x as my multiplication sign. Okay, so I will introduce a comma here. 2. I thought if you don't introduce your comma, then there's going to be an error in your program. So I'm going to introduce a comma here as well. Comma 2 string x norm will iterate through the list, then equals to 2 times no. So if I print this, I'm expecting it to give me a multiplication table that runs from 1 to 12. I have to increase 13 please. Okay, let me leave it for now and see what happens. Okay, I'll run this. Good. So I'm having a multiplication table here, okay, that runs from 1 to 12, and it's similar to what you have at the back of your exercise books. You're having 2 times 1, 2, 2 times 2, 4, 2 times 3, 6, 2 times 4, 8, 2 times 5, 10, and so on. 2 times 10, 20. Okay, times 10, 20. So I'm going to, I don't know, okay, times 10, 20. So I'm going to increase this and see what happens. Let me increase my numbers here. So I'm going to this. Okay, no, it goes down, I don't need to increase. I didn't see that initially, so I was just wondering if it didn't print my 2 times 11 and 2 times 12. So I have that already there. So this is a very simple way of programming, writing a code or writing a program that will print out your multiplication table. This time we have all the numbers in this list being multiplied by 2. Okay, this is actually our multiplication table, and I would like to give you an assignment, and the assignment is going to be that you, at your own time of practice, I would want you to also design a multiplication table, write a code for a multiplication table that will multiply a list of numbers from 1 to 12, that will multiply each of those numbers by 3. Yes, so that will be the assignment you'll be having today. Write a list of a code that would multiply numbers from a series of numbers from 1 to 12 by 3. Yes, so before you do that, you can just go through this program again, go through this code and understand the process very well. So apart from this, there are a lot of things we can do with our list. You have what we call a nested loop. Okay, a nested loop. I might have another list name called I can call it name. If I have another list here, I call it name, and I wrote Jonah, then I decide to write Sam. So this is what we call, okay, we're having 2 lists here. I can have a nested loop here where I have for num in numbers, and then I come back here and say for name in names. I can say for name in names. Okay, now you can see I'm making reference to 2 loops. It's a nested loops because the second loop is under the other one. Then I can have a print function here that will make reference to both of them. Okay, I can have a print function that will say, that can link me to everything. So it depends on what you want to do in Python program. I can have a list function that can I can say, okay, I can say print num. I can say print num. Okay, print num. Then equals to, I'll put an equality sign in a string. Num equals to, I'll put a comma, then I'll make reference to me. Whatever it can just give me, and let me see how the output is going to. I'm just trying to do anything at all, but I'm just to relate to the concept of nested loop. Okay, good. So now we're having an indentation error there. The indentation error is because I told us initially, this is good that this is coming out so that we can still remember what we've been taught before. I told us that each time we have a function, a loop like this, there must be the next line of code that follows must be indented 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it must be indented. So I've indented that. Let me go ahead and run this code again. Good. I just ran the code. Let's see what the output will look like. See what we're having there. So you can see it said um, I can just go up a little bit. Okay. So I'm having number one is equals to Jonah, number one is equals to Sam. This number one is the first item in the first list, and this has been referenced to the item in the second list. Jonah and Sam was in the second list. We're in the second list. So now 1 equals to Jonah, 1 equals to Sam. Then the second, it goes to the second item in the first list again, which is 2, number 2. It makes reference to both items also in the second list. It goes to the third item on the first list and makes reference to the both items as well in the second list. So that is what happens here. We can use this to do a lot of things as well. We can use this to do a lot of things, but this is what we call this is what we call the nested loop. The nested loop. Okay, the nested loop. So if you look at my programming here, I made reference to the norm. Norm make reference to the numbers in the first list, every single number in the first list, and the name makes reference to every single name in the second list. So I decided to relate them. And that was why we're having the outcome we have there. I believe this you've been able to learn something today, and this is where we call it a day. My name is Uchina Michael Abali, and this is Domino Kids Tech Academy, and we are very glad to have you. We are still, the room and the door is still very much open for as many who are willing to train with us and make their programming journey, a very pleasant one. And I would like to let you know that there are so many students who are enrolling. There are many people who are on with us right now, and the program is actually on the fast lane and is running perfectly well. And the vision is to build programmers that will take this, that will take this world to, another level. And that's what we're doing. We're giving ourselves the best of all times to make sure we get the best in programming. And if you're willing to join us, you're going to see I'm going to drop the website on the YouTube description so that you can make reference to that. Thank you very much. It's been nice, actually spending a little time with you. I would like to advise you to make sure as much as possible to go through all you've been taught, practice them, because if you don't practice, you will not be able to do much in programming. The best programmers of today are people who take their time to practice. They go the extra mile, they make sacrifices, they make a lot of efforts to be the best, and that's what we're doing, and that's what we do here, and I hope you're going to do the same. Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Uche. See you in the next class. Thank you.